For the longest time, the crypto world has kind of been running from regulation. But after everything that went down in 2025, well, that's all changed. In 2026, the rules of the game, they're not a barrier anymore. They're the actual blueprint for success. So today, we're going to decode that blueprint, the Crypto 2026 Roadmap.
And really, this is the one idea you need to get your head around. For years, crypto OGs viewed regulation as the ultimate threat. But the script has totally flipped. Now, regulation isn't the enemy at all. It's the roadmap. It's what's going to separate the winners from the losers in this next cycle. So let's dive in. This is the new crypto roadmap. We're going to break down exactly what all the hard lessons from 2025 mean for your investment strategy as we all try to figure out 2026.
Okay, so what's really driving all this change? Let's get into the key trends you absolutely have to have on your radar for 2026, because believe me, they are going to impact everything. All right, first up, and this one is huge, the ETF expansion. If you thought the spot ETFs for Bitcoin and Ethereum were a big deal, you better get ready for the next wave. We are absolutely expecting to see more of these approved for a whole range of altcoins. And that just throws the doors wide open for even more big money to pour in. Okay, next up, trend number 2 is all about bringing some clarity for creators. You know the Wild West days for NFTs? Yeah, those are pretty much over. The SEC is stepping in to provide some much-needed guidance for NFT creators and the platforms they use. This means more structure, more legitimacy, and way fewer sketchy gray areas. And that leads us right into our third trend, DeFi fortification. Decentralized finance. You know, all those projects trying to build a new financial system on the blockchain? It's been a hotbed of incredible innovation, but let's be honest, a ton of risk too. So in 2026, you can expect much stronger rules to be built around these protocols, which should create a more stable and trustworthy foundation.
So here's the bottom line with all these trends. They're creating a very clear dividing line. The winners in 2026, they're going to be the projects that lean into this, the ones with real compliance, transparency, and clear rules. And the losers? Well, they'll be the ones still pretending it's 2021, thinking they can just ignore the new reality. Spoiler alert, they can't.
Okay, so we've talked about what's happening, but the real question is, why should you care? This is where we get to the investor's advantage, because at the end of the day, a regulated market is a much stronger market for all of us.
See, regulation gives that green light that the big players, we're talking institutional money, have been waiting for. This chart shows just how much more of that money is expected to jump in. And when they do, that means more cash flowing around and, hopefully, a much less bumpy ride for everybody. And that's the direct payoff right there. With clearer rules, the market just becomes less of a wild gamble. It's pretty simple. When everyone knows the rules of the game, there's way less of that pure panic and speculation that causes those massive crashes. It leads to a more stable, more predictable market.
So let's bring this right down to you and your own portfolio. What's in it for you? Well, it means you can actually start making smarter choices with more confidence. You're probably going to be less likely to panic sell when things get a little shaky. And it means you can focus on finding those high-quality, compliant projects that are actually built to last, which points toward more predictable growth in the long run. Okay, we've covered the what and the why. Now it's time for the how. How do you actually play this? Let's get tactical with your 2026 strategic playbook. We've got 4 concrete things you can do to navigate and even thrive in this new landscape.
So here it is, your 4-step game plan. First off, you got to track those ETF launches. They're like smoke signals for where the big money is getting interested. Second, follow the feds. Seriously, announcements from the SEC and the DOJ are now need-to-know market signals. Third, prioritize compliance. Look for projects that are open, transparent, and have their act together. And finally, number 4, do your homework. Start treating crypto investments with the same seriousness you would any other traditional, regulated asset.
All right, as we start to wrap this up, let's pull back one last time for the big picture, the essential takeaway. Because to really get where we're going in 2026, you have to appreciate just how much 2025 set the stage for this whole new era.
Just look at this timeline. It really shows you what a pivotal year 2025 was. In the first quarter, we got those huge spot ETF approvals that opened the floodgates. Then, by Q2, the SEC was ramping up its investigations into NFTs and DeFi. And then, bam! By the end of the year, major enforcement actions from the DOJ made it crystal clear. Playing by the rules is no longer optional. These events completely changed the game.
And all of this leads to one single, unavoidable conclusion. This is the new rule for success.
Understanding regulation isn't some niche thing anymore. It's not optional. It is the absolute foundation for making smart moves in crypto in 2026 and for years to come.
So, look, the path forward is actually clearer than it has ever been. For the first time, there's a real map. The only real question left is, are you ready to use it?
Subscribe and visit Web3 Newswire for more updates on ETFs.